I had the most amazing people in my life, like from the coaches being there every day for me, the strength staff, my teammates, I would not be able to be like where I'm at today if it wasn't for them, because when you go through things like that, it takes a village, and being away from home, that's just extremely tough. So having those people around, it makes me want to come back here all the time because it genuinely feels like home.
Laeticia Amihere has competed on some of the biggest stages in the world. The former South Carolina women's basketball player not only won a national championship and competed in several Final Fours for the Gamecocks, she also played on the Canadian national team at the World Cup and the Olympics, and was also a first-round draft pick in the WNBA. But it's a lot of her setbacks that make up who she is. She joins us now on Gamecock Talk. All right, LA, you were part of the most successful era, if you will, for South Carolina women's basketball. 3 Final Fours, a national championship, multiple SEC championships, part of that Freshies class. What does that mean to you?
It's something that's going to carry on with me for the rest of my life. I mean, even going to WNBA, people still remember me as, the player from South Carolina. The Freshies group, I think, is something that's just going to be monumental.
You were a first-round pick in the WNBA by the Atlanta Dream. Tell us a little bit about your first year as a professional.
Yeah. First of all, just something that I've dreamed about my whole entire life, and to have the Freshies around, to have my coaches around during that night, my family, it was a great moment for me. And then coming into the year, just going in with expectations and having a pro career where it wavers, where you have your days are up, days are down. So it was definitely whenever people ask me about my rookie season, I always say I learned a lot.
Did you have a welcome to the WNBA moment at any point?
Of course. I think the moment when I played Asia, I think that was just surreal, just being able to, obviously she had a career night during that day, but just being able to go out there and just being able to guard her, I think that was great.
Did you have any fangirl moments? And I mean, you've played internationally, so you've probably played against a lot of these professionals before you got there, but did you have any fangirl moment like, oh, that's...
Honestly, yeah. I think that just being in the environment and seeing players that I've, watched growing up, watched on TV, Candace Parker, obviously, is one of my biggest idols. So I think just being able to watch them was just a great moment for me.
So was it motivation for you as well to show that, well, you obviously belong because you're there, but, these are the ones you watched growing up?
Absolutely. I think I always had that mindset. I kind of just look at players as, my opponents. And then obviously when I'm after the game, I'll take time to debrief, and I'm like, wow, these are the players I was playing against.
Now, you've played on a big stage, not just at South Carolina, but internationally with Team Canada, World Cup, Olympic stuff, playing against the best in the world from different countries. How did that help you in terms of developing your game?
Yeah, there's a different level of basketball when you get to those levels. I think the way players play is more strategic, and being able to have that basketball IQ that I've learned playing overseas and kind of different things that they use in their game, I think it helped me a lot, especially defensively. How
much of a difference is there between, let's say, college basketball, professional basketball, and international basketball?
Styles of plays are tremendously different. I would even say just as a professional, the mind that you have for the game is a different type of love that you have for the game. In college, I would say you're a lot more catered. You have kind of that environment, but in the pros, it's about your love for the game and how much you're going to put in. So I think I've learned that a lot being a professional. Playing internationally is kind of the same, where you're kind of on your own and you're able to just learn through that way, but professional is also a different level.
College basketball, obviously, it's a long season. If you're doing what you want to do, you're playing into April, and it's 30-plus games. But when you get to the professional level, it's more games per week. How do you adapt to that kind of grind and the toll, I guess, it takes on your body?
It's tough. It's very tough, honestly. Even coming from college straight to that with no breaks, it definitely takes a toll on your body. But being able to be in a program that just dominates on excellent as a pro, like Coach O says, building pro habits, I think that taught us a lot, just to how to take care of your body, how to have a rest day where you're still thinking about basketball. Those are the things that you need to bring to the next level.
You didn't have the easiest path going back a ways. Coming out of high school, going into college, you had some injuries in high school that kind of got your college career off to a slow start. Did you miss your last 2 years of high school or a year and a half or so? Talk about the challenges in overcoming that, because obviously you wanted to play when you first got here and play at a high level, but at times, I guess, especially initially, your body wasn't ready. What were the biggest challenges during that time for you?
I think, well, to start, I came in early. I think that was the biggest challenge. I went straight from, being a regular student to getting injured to flying off to a state that I've never been to. So all that has been something that I had to adapt. And I think my life has just been a testament of adaptability and perseverance and kind of just pivoting. I think that's a big thing when life strikes you. Something, you have to be able to use it in a different way. So I think those years really taught me to view the game in a different light, to cherish it a lot more. And it taught me a lot of, basketball IQ things that I picked up just watching and being in that environment.
How did the staff help you during that time, whether it was coaches or athletic training staff? Because I'm sure it was frustrating. You knew what you could do or what you wanted to do, but when your body wasn't ready or you were still recovering and maybe you weren't back to the level that you were accustomed to being at.
Yeah, I mean, me and Molly are like best friends to this day. She has been there through the thick and the thin. Going through injuries like that, you have to rely heavily on your strength staff, your trainers, all those different things that are going to bring you to that level that you need to be. So she's been amazing, and I even still lean on to her till this day.
Fast forwarding, obviously you had a great career here. Your last year, there was a lot of adversity off the court for you. You lost some loved ones, an aunt that you were close with, and your brother in the last year. How did you cope with that, and how were you able to continue to do what you do as a student and as an athlete?
When I talked about, being pampered in college, I didn't only mean on the court. I mean, I had the most amazing people in my life, like from the coaches being there every day for me, the strength staff, my teammates. I would not be able to be like where I'm at today if it wasn't for them, because when you go through things like that, it takes a village, and being away from home, that's just extremely tough. So having those people around, it makes me want to come back here all the time because it genuinely feels like home.
Was there ever a point during that time where you felt like, I need to take a break or step away from school? Was that ever a consideration?
Oh, absolutely. It was just like a whirlwind of emotions. I think Coach has been somebody that kind of tried to instill different things into me, try to compartmentalize. That's one word that she uses every single day. But when you're on the court, kind of just being on the court and being in that moment, and then try to forget everything else that's around you. So it kind of became my safe haven, being able to come to practice. And then I would try to come in with a sad face, but it's impossible to be sad around people that are just so jolly and just bringing you so much life.
Now, you grew up, you had older brothers, right, playing ball, and I guess you wanted to play with them. Did they let you, or what was that like growing up?
Absolutely not. If you're a girl, raised around brothers, you're going to be the water girl. You're going to bring people their rebound. You're going to bring food. So I was always the person that just brought them food and cheered for them. So one day they finally let me on the court, and I realized that I'd rather just be a water girl around them.
Well, when did they realize that you were good, or when did you realize I'm good at this?
Yeah, I got a huge growth spurt. My brother Benson, I'm taller than him now by a lot, and he was able to he used to be a tree. He just put his hands up, not even play defense, and I would just throw it into his hands. So once I got that growth spurt, then I kind of got him a little bit more, and then I started loving the game a lot more.
You don't call him little brother now, do you?
I won't even put that on camera because I wouldn't even do that to myself.
All right. So when you're growing up, I had read somewhere that, one of the big things when you first got attracted to basketball is you wanted to dunk. Yeah. You were going to say, that's what I want to do. Take us through that. How old were you when you first decided that's what I want to do? And when did you first do it?
Yeah, I was around in 7th grade doing it. I was just the lankiest person around. My arms were touching my knees, just walking around. And I would just use that to my advantage, shot blocking and doing layups and touching the glass. And my coaches, and especially my brother, he was like, you should try to dunk, because they were all very athletic. My older brother, Kofi, he was the dunk champ. Everybody knew him around for dunking. So I tried it, and then as a girl, you're not taught the techniques. So my brothers were able to just teach me how to do it. And they would always, train on their legs and all these different things. So I would just jump in with them. And then when starting in the 8th grade, then I started really getting the technique. And that's when I first started doing it after practices.
Well, I would see you do it in practices here at Carolina or in pre-game warm-ups, and that was always a crowd pleaser. But then one of your teammates does it in the game last year, Ashlyn Watkins. What was going through your mind there? Did you think, oh, this is great, or like, oh, I wanted to do that?
Oh, no. I was like, if you see the video, I was out there having my head, like, jumping. It's just exciting. Honestly, I remember when I first started doing it, I would search up girls who can dunk. And there would be no videos. Like, the only videos would be with Brittany Griner and Candace Parker. And I remember that. And now if you search it up, there's a plethora of videos. And I'm just so excited to see the new generation and us just changing the game. I think it's just so exciting. It
was so fun because I do remember that game. There was a bunch of hecklers at Clemson that were heckling our team, even though South Carolina was winning big. And as soon as she dunked, they all left.
Yeah, it was very quiet there.
that was fun. Well, you said you grew up, when you were little, you had the big growth spurt and you were tall and lanky. I'm sure there's a lot of young ladies out there that maybe haven't grown into their body yet. They grow all at once and they're not sure what to do. What's the message for girls maybe that, we're still trying to figure things out that feel awkward because either they haven't grown into their body or they're taller than, everybody in their class?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, my mom would always say it's a blessing, like people are jealous. But your parents always say that, like they always think that you're just amazing. But it is really a blessing. Like it has brought me around the world. And honestly, I would say to those girls that try to put yourself in spaces with people that are tall and people that look like you. I think that's the biggest confidence boost. Once I started being on a team that people, had the same problems as finding clothes, I'm like, oh my gosh, I have that problem too. And then you start to build that community. So I think sports is just a unique way to do that.
Now, you do a lot of things outside of the basketball court. I know when you were here, you were involved in a lot of different things, whether it was community service or just other entities around campus that didn't involve basketball, and you've continued that. Tell us about the foundation you started.
Yeah, Back to the Motherland is something that I'm extremely passionate about. I've been working on it for a few years, but for me, when I want to start something, it needs to be like well done and well thought out of. So I started, going to Ivory Coast, where my mom is from, starting camps out there, partnering with people out there that have been doing amazing things. Lebaz Academy is one of them. And then doing something back home in Toronto, trying to just work with the underserved community, because I was once that kid that, wanted to play sports. My 2 eldest brothers play sports, and it's like, we can't pay for 3 people to play sports. And a coach gave me the opportunity, and I just want to pay back to basketball. So just being able to just go into different countries and different places that are underserved and just give them the opportunity.
What's the biggest challenge in doing something like that? Not just setting it up, but being as hands-on as you are and going to these places that, may not be as comfortable as you're accustomed to now.
The biggest thing for me is being with people that I trust and working with people I trust, because not everybody has the same agendas. I think that's really big when you go into anything, really, just making sure that your agendas line up with everybody else's. I want to do it for the right reasons. No monetary gain is involved, and I think that's really important because these people benefit so much, whether it's like the smallest thing, like sending videos out or gear that we don't even use. They benefit so much from it. So being able to just surround yourself with, and I've been able to do that with great mentors.
How do the kids at the Ivory Coast, how do they react to you? They may never have seen a professional basketball player before, and I don't know how much they play the game or know anything about basketball there.
Yeah, I mean, Ivory Coast is big soccer world, West Africa is big soccer world. So kind of introducing them to a different sport, a sport that, they have so much talent, so much raw talent when it comes to just innate ability and innate athletic ability. So being able to capitalize on, anything, even if it's not to play professionally, just being able to see somebody that it comes from your area, may have gone through similar struggles, just to see them make it, I think that's just another boost of confidence.
I was going to say, what do you have specific goals for Back to the Motherland in terms of where it is now and where you want to see it in the future?
Absolutely. My big plan is to build a court. I think that's the biggest thing. When I went to Ivory Coast when I was younger, we would always just show up to basketball courts and there would just be soccer. Like, they would just put soccer goals. And I'm like, this is a basketball court, you know what I mean? And then they would kick out people, kick out younger people, kick out girls. Girls were only really just allowed to watch. And there's a lot of gender barriers that I've also had to overcome because you're going into a country where, girls are doing certain things. They're more of the head of the family, whereas, in America, they have a lot less barriers in that space. So there's a lot of barriers that you need to attack, but it's important for me because I come from those areas and I've been there, so I understand how to approach it. And some people are kind of aggressive in that manner where they just want to do something, but they don't know the culture around it.
Having been here for 4.5 years and seeing the arena here, Colonial Life Arena, filled with 15 and 18,000 people every time you guys take the court, does that make you more appreciative of your experience here when you see what's going on in other countries?
1,000%. I mean, even just in other communities, the fan base that is here is second to none. Like, even going to Atlanta, and it's like, I'm hearing Gamecock fans more than anything, and I'm like, this is crazy. Like, you feel at home anywhere you are.
You've just finished your first season as a professional. Anything you missed yet, or you haven't been gone far enough in terms long enough from being a college student athlete?
One thing I miss is the meals have been amazing. I mean, they're pampered here. I try to tell my teammates, like, you got to really hone into everything that they give you, but also try to learn outside of that. Like, obviously, if they give you free food, you're going to eat it, you're going to take it, but also taking that time to learn how to cook and learn how to navigate through life outside of your sport, because once you go professional, you're on your own. You're cooking your own meals, and depending on which situation you are. Sometimes if you want to do extra workouts, you have the coaches, but you can also go in and work on your own thing. So being able to just learn how to be a pro and be an adult, I think may be hard for a lot of people, but I was blessed to be in an environment where they taught me all those different things.
As a professional athlete and a former college athlete at a high-profile program, obviously there's a lot of young people that look up to you, boys and girls that come to the games. When did you realize that I'm a role model, and maybe, I don't know if it changed how you act or anything, or things that you did, but when did you first realize that, okay, I'm not just, LA basketball player, that these little people are looking up to me?
I think it's been like that for a while, just because I'm the first one to really make it professional out of anybody in my family or anybody that surrounds me, really. So being able to have that as a motivating factor for everybody around me, I think I've put that on my shoulders for sure. And not only on the basketball court, just in terms of who I am as a person. When I was younger, I was the biggest class clown, and I would just string people along for the wrong reasons, just to be funny. And my mom taught me that early, that people are really looking at what I do.
Okay. See, I wouldn't have guessed you were the class clown, because on game day, you were so serious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, looking back at your career here, what would you say? And obviously, tons of accolades for you and the team, but what are your best memories of your playing days here?
The national championship was, I never understood the depth of being a national champion. I think the year we fell short, it hurt a lot, but I didn't really understand the magnitude of it until we won, and it was changing the whole Columbia, and even beyond that, even when I go to Charlotte, it's you're a national champion. So just learning the depths of how significant it is to just go to that level and be a victory.
It is not unfinished business any longer. South Carolina has captured its second national championship. Tears of triumph in 2022.
What was your degree in from South Carolina?
Sports management.
Whenever basketball is done for you, hopefully long time down the road after a professional and international career, what do you see yourself doing?
Well, I've always said I want to continue in the philanthropic area, just continuing with my foundation, working with NBA Africa and all those surrounding partners. But actually recently, I've actually kind of been leaning around coaching, which has been a very, very, very new thing. So just the opportunity to come here and intern and kind of see how things are running. And this is the best place to intern, obviously, a very successful program. So who knows? Maybe I'll be Coach LA one day.
All right, so interning, they're not just making you get cups of coffee, are they?
Oh, no. No. They could get their own coffee. But, Just the opportunity to be around, even just picking their brain. Like, they are just such knowledgeable people, and so I've just learned a lot in anything I'm doing here.
Is it different as you watch this team practice, since official practice has already started? Some newcomers and some players that weren't starters now are going to have to step into starting role. What's it like watching them?
It's like your little sisters, your little siblings, like, out there. And it just brings me so much pride to watch them step into a different role. Whether they think they're ready or they're not, they are, because they've had, not to tune our own horn, but they've had amazing people to look up to. I think we've been great role models to them. So they're going to realize that it's in them. Once they step on that court, they're going to realize that, everything that they need is right where they need it, whether it's from themselves or the coaches or surrounding people, because we're going to be there. The Freshies, when you go to university, it's for life. So being able to just pour into them, I think we're going to be able to do that.
Again, that Freshies group was so unique because everybody in that group was a contributor from day one, and then for 4 years of that, it doesn't happen, where you have that. And a lot of them are playing professional now. You've got to see them, I guess, a lot in the last few months wearing different uniforms. How often do you talk to your fellow Freshies?
Very often. We're in the group chat texting, very often. Just about different things. We've just been always there for each other. We used to have Freshies night, just going in and be like, okay, what's going on in your life? What's going on in your life? Just to decompress. So throughout the season, that group chat was very hot. And even right now, it's just great to have people. When you're at a different level, a lot of people that you surround yourself may not understand the grind and the daily things that you go through, but when you have a group that literally is going through exactly what you're going through, it's just great.
And when you see some of your former teammates on the court in the WNBA, any trash talking going on there, or is it just fist bumps and high fives? What's going on?
It's just the weirdest feeling. I remember, I haven't even said this, but one time Aaliyah was shooting a free throw, and it was one of her first games. And I started clapping because I'm just used to, you know what I mean? I've been with her for 4 years. And I just oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed for that. But it's just a great moment. But obviously when you step on the court, it's really just, you don't really see that. You're really locked in. But after the game and before the games, she would heckle at me when I'm warming up and stuff like that. So it's just so much fun.
It's hard to root against Aaliyah Boston.
No, it is. It is. You always want her to do great.
All right. So Coach Staley has always been a big advocate for you when you were here, when things were good, when she was bad. It seems like she always had confidence in you, and I think she showed that with the different roles you played at South Carolina at your regular position, but also when you were playing point forward and doing that very well, and being a huge making a huge impact, whether you were starting or coming off the bench. What has Coach Staley meant to you for your basketball career and off the court?
Man, people just don't understand what, and I don't even want to get emotional, but it's what she has done for me and my family, and she has been a rock. People that I know that haven't even gone to this university can see the impact, and she's not a boastful person, but she lets her work speak for herself. She has been even when I don't see it in myself, she has seen things beyond that I can imagine, and she's put me in a position to be drafted first round because of the position she's put me in. So, I owe a lot to her just for the person she is, and just coming to this university, why I chose it was because I felt that the staff was very honest with me, and you need people that are honest with you, whether you want to hear it or whether you don't want to hear it. So she has been amazing.
What's something, when we found out that you were a class clown growing up, but what's something most of our fans wouldn't know about LA if they only saw you on game day and saw, the intensity and just all the basketball skills? They know a little bit more about you now, but what's something folks maybe don't know about LA?
I think I show a very serious face when I step on the court, but before we step on the court, we go into the little tunnel. So I'm the one dancing and just doing all these different things, and as soon as you hit that mark where the fans see you, it's a straight face. It's we ready to go. So that switch off, people always like I said, when I was going through my things, it's so hard to be serious because they know who I am. They know just the joyful and silly person I am. So I think definitely people may not know that about me.
All right. So what's next for you in the coming year? Whether it's with your foundation, you mentioned you're doing some interning here, but what's next for you in the next year?
Yeah, it's Olympic year, and that's going to be very exciting for me. Just to have more experience under my belt, and it's not a COVID year, so it's going to be more of an Olympic experience for me. But right now I'm training and interning, and we have some tournaments coming up with Team Canada, and then after that, it's really just mostly going into that Olympic phase, which is going to be super exciting. And then this is year 2 for me, with a lot of experience at my belt and a lot of lessons learned. So I'm just excited. You know, this is my first, I've been telling a lot of people this is my first off season because every year I've been going to Team Canada. So just being able to have that experience to just get in the weight room and work what I want to work on and getting in the gym and working what I want to work on, I think it's going to serve me well for the years coming.
And last thing for you, when you're representing Team Canada, you're wearing your country's name, across your chest. What does it mean when you're playing international competition, especially the Olympics, to at the end of the tournament to be able to put a medal around your neck while you're wearing your country's uniform?
Oh man, that's probably like one of my biggest goals in life. Like just to be able to bring back a medal to Canada. You know, they haven't done that in ever, honestly, men or women. So being able to do that, I think is going to be probably one of my biggest joys in life.